Code's not even the right verb anymore, right?
Yeah.
But I have to express my will to my agents for 16 hours a day. Manifest.
How can I have not just a single session of Claude Code or Codex or some of these agent harnesses? How can I have more of them? How can I do that appropriately? The agent part is now taken for granted. Now the claw-like entities are taken for granted. And now you can have multiple of them. And now you can have instructions to them. And now you can have optimization over the instructions. But I mean, this is why it gets to the psychosis, is that this is like infinite and everything is skill issue.
Listeners, welcome back to No Priors. Today I'm here with Andrej Karpathy, and we have a wide-ranging conversation for you about code agents, the future of engineering and AI research, how more people can contribute to research, what's happening in robotics, his prediction for how agents can reach out into the real world, and education in this next age. Welcome, Andrej. Andrej, thanks for doing this.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Yeah. I kind of feel like I was in this perpetual, I still am often in this state of AI psychosis, just like all the time, because there was a huge unlock in what you can achieve as a person, as an individual, right? Because you were bottlenecked by, your typing speed and so on. But now with these agents, it really, I would say in December is when it really just, something flipped where I kind of went from 80-20 of to like 20-80 of writing code by myself versus just delegating to agents. And I don't even think it's 20-80 by now. I think it's a lot more than that. I don't think I've typed like a line of code probably since December, basically, which is like an extremely large change. I was talking to it, like, for example, I was talking about it to, for example, my parents and so on. And I don't think like a normal person actually realizes that this happened or how dramatic it was. Like literally, like if you just find a random software engineer or something like that at their desk and what they're doing, like their default workflow of building software is completely different as of basically December. So I'm just like in this state of psychosis of trying to figure out like what's possible, trying to push it to the limit. How can I have not just a single session of, Claude Code or Codex or some of these agent harnesses? How can I have more of them? How can I do that appropriately? And then how can I use these claws? What are these claws? So there's like a lot of... What is it limited by? I think everything, like so many things, even if they don't work, I think to a large extent, you feel like it's a skill issue. It's not that the capability is not there. It's that you just haven't found a way to string it together of what's available. Like I didn't give good enough instructions in the agents MD file or whatever it may be. I don't have a nice enough memory tool that I put in there or something like that. So it all kind of feels like skill issue when it doesn't work. It's just like you can move in much larger macro actions. It's not just like, here's a line of code, here's a new function. It's like, here's a new functionality and delegate it to agent 1. Here's a new functionality that's not going to interfere with the other one. Give it agent 2. And then try to review their work as best as you can, depending on how much you care about that code. Like, what are these macro actions that I can like manipulate my software repository by? And like another agent is doing some like research, another agent is writing code, another one is coming up with a plan for some new implementation. And so everything just like happens in these like macro actions over your repository. And you're just trying to become like really good at it and develop like a muscle memory for it is extremely, it's very rewarding, number one, because it actually works. But it's also kind of like the new thing to learn. So that's why, hence the psychosis. So I actually kind of experienced this when I was a PhD student. You would feel nervous when your GPUs are not running.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have GPU capability and you're not maximizing out the available flops to you. But now it's not about flops, it's about tokens. So what is your token throughput and what token throughput do you command? So in January, I had a claw. I went through a period of claw psychosis. So I built, I have a claw basically that takes care of my home. And I call him Dobby the Elf Claw. Basically, I used the agents to find all of the smart home subsystems of my home on the local area network, which I was kind of surprised that worked out of the box. Like I just told it that I think I have Sonos at home. Like, can you try to find it? And it goes and it did like IP scan of all of the basically computers on the local area network, and it found the Sonos thing, the Sonos system, and it turned out that there's no password protection or anything like that. It just logged in and it's like, oh yeah, you have these Sonos systems installed. Let me try to reverse engineer how it's working. It does some web searches and it finds like, okay, these are the API endpoints. And then it's like, do you want to try it? And I'm like, whoa, like you just did that. And I'm like, yeah, can you try to play something in the study? And it does, and music comes out. And I'm like, I can't believe I just...
That's crazy. That's like 3 prompts. Yeah.
I can't believe I just typed in like, can you find my Sonos? And that suddenly it's playing music. And it did the same for lights. And so basically like it kind of hacked in, figured out the whole thing, created APIs, created a dashboard. So I could see the command kind of center of like all of my lights in the home. And then it was like switching lights on and off. And, so I can ask it like, Dobby, it's sleepy time. And when it's sleepy time, that just means all the lights go off, etc. and so on. So it controls all of my lights, my HVAC, my shades, the pool and the spa, and also my security system. So I have a camera pointed outside of the house. The pool and the spa, and also my security system. So I have a camera pointed outside of the house, and anytime someone rolls in, I have a Quen model that looks at the videos. So first of all, there's change detection,
right?
And then based on change detection, it goes to Quen, and then it actually like tells me, it sends me a text to my WhatsApp. It shows an image from the outside, and it says, "Hey, a FedEx truck just pulled up. And you might want to check it, and you got new mail or something like that." And Dobby just texts me this. It's really incredible. So Dobby is in charge of the house. I text with it through WhatsApp, and it's been like really fun to have these macro actions that maintain my house. I haven't like really pushed it like way more beyond that, and I think people are doing a lot more crazy things with it. But for me, even just a home automation setup, I used to use like 6 apps, completely different apps, and I don't have to use these apps anymore. Like Dobby controls everything in natural language. There's this sense that these apps that are in the App Store for using these smart home devices, etc., these shouldn't even exist kind of in a certain sense. Like, shouldn't it just be APIs, and shouldn't agents be just using it directly? And wouldn't it, like, I can do all kinds of home automation stuff that in any individual app will not be able to do, right? And an LLM can actually drive the tools and call all the right tools and do pretty complicated things. And so in a certain sense, it does point to this, like maybe there's like an overproduction of lots of custom bespoke apps that shouldn't exist because agents kind of like crumble them up, and everything should be a lot more just like exposed API endpoints, and agents are the glue of the intelligence that actually like tool calls all the parts. Another example is like my treadmill. There's an app for my treadmill, and I wanted to like keep track of how often I do my cardio, but like I don't want to like log into web UI and go through a flow and etc. Like all this should just be like make APIs available. And this is kind of, going towards the agentic sort of web or like agent first tools and all this kind of stuff. So I think the industry just has to reconfigure in so many ways that it's like the customer is not the human anymore. It's like agents who are acting on behalf of humans. So I think like I had a tweet earlier where I kind of like said something along the lines of, to get the most out of the tools that have become available now, you have to remove yourself as the bottleneck. You can't be there to prompt the next thing. You need to take yourself outside. You have to arrange things such that they're completely autonomous. And the more how can you maximize your token throughput and not be in the loop? This is the goal. And so I kind of mentioned that the name of the game now is to increase your leverage. I put in just very few tokens just once in a while, and a huge amount of stuff happens on my behalf. And so AutoResearch, like I tweeted that, and I think people liked it and whatnot, but they haven't like maybe worked through like the implications of that. And for me, AutoResearch is an example of like an implication of that, where it's like, I don't want to be like the researcher in the loop, like looking at results, etc. Like I'm holding the system back. So the question is, how do I refactor all the abstractions so that I have to arrange it once and hit go? The name of the game is how can you get more agents running for longer periods of time without your involvement, doing stuff on your behalf. And AutoResearch is just, here's an objective, here's a metric, here's your boundaries of what you can and cannot do, and go. And
you were surprised at its effectiveness.
And then I let AutoResearch go for like overnight, and it came back with like tunings that I didn't see. And I did forget like the weight decay on the value embeddings, and my atom betas were not sufficiently tuned, and these things jointly interact. So like once you tune one thing, the other things have to potentially change too. You know, I shouldn't be a bottleneck. I shouldn't be running these hyperparameter search optimizations. I shouldn't be looking at the results. There's objective criteria in this case. So you just have to arrange it so that it can just go forever. So that's a single sort of version of AutoResearch, of like a single loop trying to improve. And I was surprised that it found these things that the repo is already fairly well tuned and still found something. And that's just it's a single loop. Like these frontier labs, they have GPU clusters of tens of thousands of them. And so it's very easy to imagine how you would basically get a lot of this automation on smaller models. And fundamentally, everything around like frontier level intelligence is about extrapolation and scaling laws. And so you basically do a ton of the exploration, like the LLMs. Part is now taken for granted. The agent part is now taken for granted. Now the claw-like entities are taken for granted. And now you can have multiple of them. And now you can have instructions to them. And now you can have optimization over the instructions. And it's just like, it's a little too much, But I mean, this is why it gets to the psychosis, is that this is like infinite and everything is skill issue. And that's why I feel like, that's just coming back to, this is why it's so insane. I simultaneously feel like I'm talking to an extremely brilliant PhD student who's been like a systems programmer for their entire life and a 10-year-old. And it's so weird because humans, like there's like, I feel like they're a lot more coupled. Like you have, everything is a lot more coupled.
You wouldn't encounter that combination.
This jaggedness is really strange. And humans have a lot less of that kind of jaggedness, although they definitely have some. But humans have a lot more jaggedness. The agents have a lot more jaggedness where sometimes like, I ask for functionality and it like comes back with something that's just like totally wrong. And then we get into loops that are totally wrong. And then I get so frustrated with the agents all the time still, because you feel the power of it, but they're still like, it does nonsensical things once in a while for me still as well. And so the reason we don't have more demand for software is just it's scarcity and it's too expensive.
It's too expensive, yeah.
So if the barrier comes down, then actually you have the Jevons paradox, which is like, the demand for software actually goes up. It's cheaper and there's more
powerful,
software.
yeah.
The classical example of this always is the ATMs and the bank tellers, because there was a lot of like fear that ATMs and computers basically would displace tellers. But what happened is they made like the cost of operation of a bank branch much cheaper. And so there were more bank branches, so there were more tellers, is like the canonical example people cite. But basically it's just Jevons paradox, like something becomes cheaper, so there's a lot of unlocked demand for it. So I do think that's probably, I do have like cautiously optimistic view of this in software engineering, where I do, it does seem to me like the demand for software will be extremely large. And it's just become a lot cheaper. And so I do think that for quite some time, it's very hard to forecast, but it does seem to me like right now, at least locally, there's going to be more demand for software. Because software is amazing. It's like, digital information processing. You're not forced to use like arbitrary tools that were given to you. That are imperfect in various ways. You're not forced to subscribe to what exists. Swarm of agents on the internet could collaborate to improve LLMs and could potentially even like run circles around frontier labs. Like who knows, like maybe that's even possible. Like frontier labs have a huge amount of trusted compute, but the earth is much bigger and has a huge amount of untrusted compute. But if you put systems in place that, deal with this, then maybe it is possible that the swarm out there could come up with better. Like, what is education? Like it used to be guides, it used to be lectures, it used to be this thing, but now, I feel like now more I'm explaining things to agents and maybe I'm coming up with skills where like, so basically skill is just a way to instruct the agent how to teach the thing. So maybe I could have a skill for MicroGPT of the progression I imagine the agent should take you through if you're interested in understanding the code base. And it's just like hints to the model to like, first start off with this and then with that. And so I could just script the curriculum a little bit as a skill. So I don't feel like, I feel like there's going to be less of like explaining things directly to people. And it's going to be more of just like, does the agent get it? And if the agent gets it, they'll do the explanation. And we're not fully there yet because I still think I can probably explain things a little bit better than the agents, but I still feel like the models are improving so rapidly that I feel like it's a losing battle to some extent. And so I think education is going to be kind of like reshuffled by this quite substantially, where it's the end of like